welcome to a broken down shipping container where we are sweating like pigs. It is
so hot.
Calling the Audible with Peeze, Eagle, and Mo Khan, as we are now rounding the final the final quarter left in this season, as Eagle is trying to adjust the screens as we look up.
I like this because it's basically I'm the only one on the show. Mo, you're like a side character.
I realized I bumped the camera as I went to go sit down, so I got to put it back.
Yeah, your biceps over there.
Mo, I have a bone pick with you.
Oh, what did I do this time?
Well, you're involved with weather broadcast,
Supposedly I am, yes.
and every day this week was supposed to be the day the heat wave ended, and then it was supposed to be Thursday, and again it's 35 degrees. And so now they're saying Friday. So what are the chances Friday is the day that breaks the heat wave?
I have no idea. I can't tell you guys. I don't know. I haven't been in weather for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. I know it was warm.
Way to pass the buck.
It was warm, and that's it, man. You know.
Oh, it was warm. I hadn't noticed.
It was really warm this week. All right, let's dive into it. It is Division D, and we do have some unveilings to do today, which is the playoff format for Division D. Eagle?
Should we start, before we get into that, talking about the vaccine passport? Maybe just a quick update on that?
Yeah, so obviously the Quebec government has implemented the vaccine passport, which will aim, I think, towards September 1. They're looking at a 2-week window, I think.
Yeah.
Well, September 1 to 15th. We've been asked many questions about it. And as I've told people, I go, guys, it isn't our call. It's A, the government, and B, the complexes that we play our football games in.
That's a good point, Mo. The amount of hostility I've felt by some messages I've received the last couple of weeks when this was beginning to become a reality. Look, regardless of what I think about whether or not you should be vaccinated, I don't legitimately care what you do with your life. None of us do. But the thing is that we don't own the businesses, first of all. We are the clients at the venues, right?
We're renters.
We're renters, right? So, first of all, it's very unlikely that it'll be us who is responsible for checking the passports. It'll be the venue.
Yes.
So it won't be us implementing protocol. It will be the venue.
And we go by the venue's rules.
Yeah, because
we're
we're guests in their building, right? Secondly, we're not going to defy government mandates with the risk of fine, because again, it would be FPF bearing all that risk, not the players involved.
Right.
So I don't know of a single business that would be interested in incurring fines to defy a government order.
Look, we want to play football.
Yeah.
There's no ifs or buts about that, right? But again,
I missed FPF. I missed doing the show.
Yeah.
I missed FPF. It was dreadful. When the pandemic first hit, I couldn't work. I couldn't play football. There was no sports on TV. I literally felt like the pandemic took everything in my life away from me, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
We got Tiger King in The Last Dance, so that kept us going for like 30 days.
Sure, but the reality is, in a perfect world, we would have said, hey, if they implement October 1, we're like, no problem. It gives us time to recalibrate for the following seasons coming up. But in this situation, guys, there's nothing we can do. We have to go by what the rules are going to be laid out by the government, by the complexes. Then we have to abide by those rules. That's what it comes down to.
For immediate updates, essentially, we're trying to figure out how each facility is going to implement this. We're pretty sure Brossard is going to be the most, I guess, by the book is the way I'll describe it, right? We've already seen them when you go in, you have to check in, the whole stuff, or just fill out the form. So we're imagining that's the one where they'll be a little bit more serious about it, is the way I'll describe it, versus, Laval, maybe Catalonia might be a little more lax, if I were to say that.
Since we're outdoors,
politely.
there might be a little bit more flexibility. Lachine, we'll see how that plays out. And look, at the end of the day, guys, we will find out sooner than later and how this will be applied. And just bear with us. For the playoff teams in particular, I know it sucks. We've now almost gone a year and a half without an actual final. And that's something that we don't want to have for this season. We want to have all the finals and champions to be crowned going towards the fall and hopefully for the winter seasons coming up in due time.
Yeah.
So
there's apparently going to be a grace period of some sort to kind of get everything ironed out or whatever.
Specifically for sports leagues. I know the restaurants and that have the mandate is as of September 1st. But for sports leagues, it looks like there's going to be like a soft deadline and a hard deadline.
Yeah.
We don't know for certain, because that information hasn't become public yet. But
thank you, government. It's only been a week away.
The information that we've gotten unofficially is that date will be extended to November 15th, would be the first day of
September
enforceability.
15th.
Sorry, September 15th. So that's why Rob suggested one of the things we may do is truncate the playoff schedule and ending it on the 14th.
Yes, to avoid.
If we do that, unfortunately, there probably won't be a roadshow. There
No.
won't be so hopefully we can do some sort of game of the week sort of thing for those games if that's the case. Maybe we'll add commentary later. We'll look at that.
And you get to watch your NFL Sundays for those who thought it would be a month longer playoffs. So there you go. Anyway, we'll get to it as soon as we get more of a clear picture. Let's dive into Division D. A lot to get to in terms of what's going on here. We're going to focus in on the playoff races for the spots to be had. And Peeze, when we look at it right now, as we head into the final 2 games, or 1 game for some teams that have that left over, do you think there's still spots to be had? Looking at Conference B,
well,
you can see Clinkers,
we're gonna,
PD and Gronies, and all these teams.
Before
available.
we do that, let's talk about the playoff format.
That's right. Yes.
It was just established.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we finally figured it out.
This weekend we had a meeting.
Surprise, by the way, everyone.
So Eagle and I were taken by surprise that so many teams were making the playoffs. And then we realized,
which by the way makes sense.
It does.
Again, to
The reason
pull
behind
back, to do a little Wizard of Oz and pull back the curtains here. Normally, we aim for about 60 to 70% of a division to make the playoffs, depending on it. So Division E, we usually go more, right, because it's a little bit more lax. The higher up you go, the tighter it gets. Like usually Division 3 are the tight ones, right, where it's like very competitive essentially. So this year, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, because everyone's getting back to football, the results are kind of all over the place. We've extended the general range in terms of how many teams actually make playoffs. I think Division D, it's like 85% or something, right?
There's a bell curve.
Of 28 teams, only 4 teams will not make it.
Yeah, bell curve. So anyway, let's unveil it right now for those to see it. Enough talking. Let's get to it. Let's find out what's going to happen for the playoffs, please.
So we are dividing the division into 2 subdivisions. This normally happens preseason. We're doing it at the end of the season.
Yeah.
The criteria will be as follows. If you finish top 3 in your conference, so seed 1, seed 2, and seed 3, whether it's Conference A or Conference B, congratulations, you are in Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you finish bottom 3 in Conference A or Conference B, congratulations / sucks to be you. You are also Division 1. You are a small fish in a very big pond with a bunch of monsters.
So, and the reason we did this was for 2 reasons. One is that we want the integrity of the sport's very important to us. So we didn't want teams to tank on purpose. Not saying kiss my end zone, but could be them. Don't want teams to tank on purpose. We want teams to be competitive throughout the season. So that was one reason we did it. The other reason is the regular season has to mean something. And right now, like I remember we started 3-0, and jokingly I turned to my team and was like, "Well, we basically clinched after 3 weeks into the season, right?" So
exactly.
The thing is that we wanted the season to matter, and so we're rewarding the teams who finish at the top of Division D. And those teams are rewarded essentially by being fed lockdown as a first round.
Pretty much.
If you guys get by replacements, because I'm not sure. After playing both teams, your defense has a lot more work to do than theirs.
So I want to clarify something. There's still 2 teams getting eliminated from each conference. So seeds 13 and 14, bye-bye. Right?
So
you guys are done.
To clarify again, so seeds 1,
2, 3,
10, 11, 12.
10, 11, and 12.
That will be in the higher bracket of playoff formats.
Exactly. And once
Well,
they
it's not higher or lower. Like, this time around, it's separate. We just simply split Division D in 2.
Right.
There's D1, D2, but that's a name. It's like all these teams compete against each other throughout the season.
And
right?
another thing to clarify, the first 2 seeds in each conference get the buys. So they are the 1 to 4s essentially. So even if you finish 3rd in Conference A, you're finishing 5th or 6th essentially.
So it's an overall 1 through 12, and you have the top 4 with buys, and then 5 for
It's
stars.
not
2
what
from
you call it.
Conference A,
It's 1
2
to
from
6.
Conference B.
It's 1 to 6 at the top.
Yeah.
And then 1 to 6 at the bottom, but 3 and 3 from each conference.
Right, exactly. All right.
Now before we get to D2, let's talk about the teams on the bubble, right?
Exactly.
Because that won't be relevant to we talk about D2.
Exactly.
So Conference A, Mo. We have Spirit. Well, let's start with Spirit's Legion. They're 2-5-1.
One more win they're in.
One more win they're in. Lockdown 1-6-1. Lockdown has replacements on the schedule. Who else do you guys have? Eagle.
I want to say ball in 60s.
Yeah,
I think it's Tough Lungs, actually. Wait, hold on. Checking.
You have replacements and Tough Lungs.
Tough Lungs, yeah.
You can get bounced this week.
Yep.
If replacements win, it almost guarantees you won't make the playoffs
Yep.
because they have a tie like you do.
But a
they'd
winner
have a
tie
head-to-head-
gets you through.
Sorry,
A winner tie gets them through.
winner tie gets them through. I guess replacements still have a chance though. If
Yeah.
they tie them, replacements could win the last week, and lockdown can lose the last week, and replacements would still make the playoffs. Ball and 60s are also involved in this, right? Because they have the one they have 2 points. They face Spears Legion this
Yeah,
week.
that's right.
And they wrap with Glow Gang.
Yeah. Ball and 60s, by the way,
And they have head-to-head over replacements, just in case that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not bad.
Right.
The head-to-head won't matter unless there's a tie, though. But
Yeah.
they're not bad. Like they're they played Kiss My End Zone pretty close. They beat replacements. Okay, yeah, they got smoked by Tough Lungs, but generally a lot of their games have been tighter than you would expect given their record.
Right.
But they're solid. Like they're missing a little bit of refinement. They make some really good plays, but at the same time they unveil a little bit of too much of what they want to do on offense and defense. A lot of drop balls. They're a team that's going to be very good very quickly. So keep an eye out for them. Even if they make the playoffs, they're not an easy out.
Right. Let's not forget, though, right? The bottom 3 teams, right, which is Mean Girls, Spears, Legion, and Lockdown, in particular, Mean Girls and Spears Legion, they could jump Glow Gang, Kiss My End Zone, and be in that middle pack of the playoff format.
And
So
even Hot Sauce Sports has games against Johnny Fireball and Mean Girls. So Mean Girls can definitely move up by winning that head to head.
yeah.
And you know what I mean? So like there's a lot of movement from I'd say seed 7 to 10 that can change a lot. And then there's some movement between 11 to 14 in conference.
And it also applies for Conference B, where you have Fighting Illini and, of course, Clinkers and Peeze and Negronis. So right now, Fighting Illini could jump into a higher seed. We could see stumbling of top season or LBB and others that could fall into that bottom 3 brackets going into the final 2 weeks of the season.
One thing to mention here, which we haven't talked about, a lot of teams already have 9 games played. The PDs and the Gronies, Leftovers already have 9. Voodoo already has 9 as well. So those guys are like 1 game away. If they win, they either kind of like not clinch, but secure their spot even tighter.
Yeah.
If they lose, they're really at the mercy of the other teams.
Well, Fighting Line, I have Loyola on their schedule as well as Bleu Branlard. So it's a team about their caliber as well as a team at the bottom of the ranking. So they're in pretty good position. PDs and Negronis have improved over the last couple of weeks. I had trouble figuring out why they were struggling so much, but they beat Arouche this past week. They beat the Leftovers the week before. Got a little bit of their only 2 wins have come in this
Right.
mini winning streak. They end against Tuts and Parties, which again is a tough game. But I would say they probably need to win to hold on to that spot. I imagine they do have the head-to-head with Leftovers.
Yeah.
And Leftovers has a single game. They play LSA, so it's a tough road. It's a tough road for them to get upset.
All right, let's dive into the middle playoff format of teams that will be involved here. So, Eagle, unveil that format for us, please.
So basically, there's 24 teams that are left.
12 teams are left.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
24 total teams.
24 total, yeah. So there's 12 teams that are left. We throw you into a blender. We sort everyone by points and tie breaks.
Yeah.
And there's our remaining 12.
And the top 4 will get buys. And it's not this bracket is not reliant on the conferences because the top 4 seeds were not conference winners per se. So all of the buys may come from one conference. You may face off against a team from another conference. I'm actually really excited by this playoff format for this division because most times in FPF, Mo, you know this.
Yep.
You face the same teams in the playoffs usually that you face in regular season because you're playing against your own conference. So let's say 2 of every 3 playoff games you'll be facing teams you're familiar with, right?
I always thought that they should blend when you have bigger bracket playoffs, you blend the teams so you get the best matchup. Because
I think this is what we're doing here, right?
Right. Because there's always one side of the division that's far too powerful that we say, boy, that's
and we don't know in advance. We don't know this
exactly. And I think that's something maybe to look forward to for the offseason, to maybe look at leagues that have 24 plus teams. Do we do this format to avoid having best versus the weakest at that point? So there you go. So we do have that blender format coming through, and again,
based off of the current standings.
give us what it would be.
And I haven't done all the tie breaks. So, by the way, in case people aren't familiar with this, so on the division, we have the tiebreak info. So we have the tiebreak criteria for 2 teams or tiebreak criteria for 3 teams. We tiebreak based off of the seed. So if 3 people are tied for a seed, we'll use the 3 tiebreak criteria. Even if we bring it down to 2 teams eventually, it'll still go in the same order. It's only when there's 2 teams tied for the same seed. For example, if in that same 3 seed scenario.
So if two teams, let's say, have 12 points, it's a 2-team tiebreaker. If 3
Yes.
teams have 12 points, it's a 3-team tiebreaker.
Yes, but then once we eliminate 1 seed, now it's a 2-team tiebreaker
so it
for
goes
the
to,
next
okay.
one.
I misunderstood
right?
that.
It's only in for the particular seed. If
I
there's
get it.
3, we do the 3-team
So if there's
tiebreak.
3 teams at 12 points, right? It's sorted. It's a 3-team tiebreak.
Yes,
Then
even
for the-
if like the first criteria eliminates a team, we still continue with the
Yeah, but I'm
3-team
saying
tiebreak.
so let's say that team gets the it's for the 4, 5, 6 seed, right? So the top team in a 3-team tiebreaker gets the first seed.
Yes,
5 and 6 is now a head-to-head tiebreaker.
correct.
Right? It's 2-team tiebreaker. Excellent.
All right.
Yeah,
All
I want to
right.
make sure that was clear because that's something that's not always been clear to me as a player.
We don't just
before I was in
sort.
media.
It's seed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll find out in these final 2 weeks how this plays out. Just win your games and see what happens.
We've never gotten to coin toss, by the way.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Plus,
it doesn't
I love
happen.
how we still have divisional record even though we only play our own divisions now.
It
In-
could
in-
happen. Some divisions it matters. That's why we keep
Yeah.
it in the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So Eagle, what would the rankings be right now?
So what they would look like right now, and I said I haven't done all the tiebreakers, so
It might be wrong.
there's a little bit of flexibility. Maybe a guy jumps or not, but as of right now, this is what our actual playoffs would look like. So in
Next week we'll have better graphics, I promise.
well, and again, because this is still like very much going around. So in Division D1,
Also, we forgot to ask for graphics.
we let's not get into the production side of this. The top 4 seeds are going to be Vultures, pardon my swag, Bruins, and Arush. You guys get a week off, a play-in round off is the way we'll describe it, right? You don't have to do a play-in.
It's not even a full. It's I think 4 days. It's a play-in round, not a bye, because it's not a full week.
Yeah.
Yep. And 5 to 12. So new guys would play Lockdown. Johnny Fireball would play PTs and the Gronies. Mean Girls would play Clinkers. Fighting Illini would play Sparrows Legion. In Division D2, Blackouts, Los Siete Amigos, Tough Lungs, and the Stoics, but arguably could be Trap Stars, could be Tux and Parley. I actually think it's Tux and Parley, but
some parlays.
they are getting buys, and then we have the 5 to 12 that's left over. And like we said, right now our cut list is Ball and 60s, replacements, leftovers, and Loyola that are on the outside looking in. So get yourself some wins this week, and maybe get yourself a
Make
playoff
it
seed.
chaos for Eagle as he tries to process these numbers and get us the updated stands for next week. So there you
It's
go.
not that hard, actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into Division C here, boys.
It
as
takes
we-
time.
It takes a lot of time. Division C.
Before
yes.
we get to Division C, any immediate, like, granted, this is going to change. Any immediate ones where you're, like, worried for a 5 to 8 team in this type of breakdown for potentially losing, especially in D1?
No, I mean, you tell us.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No.
I was dealing with the scorekeeper. I didn't hear the question.
Any teams in the 5 to 8, any chance of them losing for first round
Yeah, of course.
for
do you
play-ins?
Losing
Fighting League.
in the first round?
Fighting Leany.
5 to 8
Fight-
in
Fighting
D1?
Yeah, because they are the higher seed in the play-ins,
Well, I mean,
right?
fighting Illini are the lowest, amongst the lowest. And so they play against Spears Legion, which is about fair. We're on the precipice of finding out if Johnny Fireball's false kings or not, right?
They are
So
false
if
kings.
they lose first round, right now they'd be up against PDs and Negronis. I can see them losing that game. PDs and Negronis are good. I don't know why they've only won 2 games. They're a good team.
We'll find out in a few weeks. All right, Division C, guys. Let's get into that right now. So we do have the playoff format shaping up now.
Before we do that, sorry, it was very important.
All right, sorry, yeah. Let's get to the next division here, guys.
I know, but Division D, we're saying goodbye to a player who thought he was going to be leaving in triumph. Instead, he will be leaving in the following attire. Eagle, please bring up Mr. Janikovsky's future boudoir clothing of choice.
Hold on. It's
I
loading.
asked you to do it
I
pre-show.
have it. It's loading. That's why.
All right, so as you load that up, let's start prepping here for Div C.
There we go. Yeah, if you can either get it as a onesie or get the full outfit. It's really much better than just getting the pajama pants. So Nim, sorry we had to send you home with a loss, but it's how it goes sometimes.
Like a bad loss too.
Look how happy she is to be a Dolphins fan.
I know.
That's not real.
No, no Dolphins fan has ever been that happy.
And no Dolphin fan wears onesies in South Florida.
Says you.
Anyway.
There's air conditioning everywhere, man.
Of course. All right, Division C. Let's dive into it now, guys. So we're starting to see the shape up of the playoffs moving towards the final week and a half of the season. We'll talk about Infantry Blessed afterwards, but look at the bottom of the race. We saw the Santar, who are still alive. They got crushed by B-ballers without Gianni Casati on Monday. Mangoose still hanging by a thread with 2 games left. Easy W can clinch, as can Silent Ticklers and Top Sauce this weekend. Again, guys, do you think Santar or Mangoose have a chance to sneak in on the last day?
Balls Deep are eliminated, right? Officially?
Balls Deep is
yes.
officially new. Yes.
Remember, Easy W is at 9 games, so Santar and Mangoose have 2 left, right? So they can leapfrog 4 points and potentially kick them out.
The problem with LA Santar is they face Silent Ticklers and South Harmon Institute of Technology. Those are tough games to end the season on. I don't think they'll have enough to get by them. And then when we look at Mangoose, who again they had the 2 games to play. They play Easy W, so they're more in control of their own destiny. If they beat Easy W's out of games, they leapfrog them. I think.
Well, Mangoose has to win out to leapfrog Easy W.
Do they?
Yes, because Mangoose has 3 wins.
Mangoose
has 1.
I thought Mangoose had 2. My mistake. So Mangoose would have to then also beat Sheesh, which is a tough one. But if Easy W loses, Mo, how uncomfortable is that week when you're sitting around waiting to see the results of the next Mangoose game before you actually know whether or not you're in a dance?
Yeah,
right?
I think so. But I think for Easy W, they're boys with Mangoose, right? It's like the cousins of this league here, the partnership that they have. But I just think that for Easy W, for Mangoose, I beg your pardon, this is on them. They had leads of double digits going into the second half, and they blew a few games. They could have had 4 wins, if not more than that. And now they're stuck at 1-7. And look, they can put up points. They can definitely put up points if they are on point here. But Thomas Couture did get suspended for his game last week, so he probably might have a bit of more of an edge coming into this game here. But again, for this to happen for them, they got to figure out a proper game plan on defense to shut down opposing offenses that they've had difficulty doing in the second half.
Well, and they had the opposite situation this week where they were up on Top Sauce, they were down against Top Sauce, and then had a huge second half, limited Top Sauce to 7 points. They end up losing that game, and Nick Schaefer throws an interception on the last play at Kenton Lowe. That's the chance to win the game. That's the chance to get you to a realistic chance to make the playoffs. Because again, if they would have won this week instead of losing 27-26, if they just beat Top Sauce, then all they need to do to advance is win the head-to-head game against Easy W, and they're in. It's winning, you're in.
Absolutely.
Now that they're putting so much pressure on them to win 2 straight games.
Yeah,
which they haven't done all season.
No, and I think for Santar, just look at them. I mean, they got crushed, and they're talking about a Gianni Casati-less team by B-ballers that took them out from the knees. And I don't know how their mindset's going to be going into the final 2 games, but guys, I don't know if they can make it in, because with that roster that they had, I cannot see them having the artillery to make a final push to get in as either 10 or 9 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, and again, given that what their last 2 games are, it's going to be
tough.
It's ostensibly eliminated.
So on the opposite end, yes, Eagle.
That 7 to 10 teams. You see anyone getting out of the play-in games?
Yeah,
and
Blue
finishing
Dreamers.
Top 6? Blue Dreamers?
Blue Dreamers. I think Blue Dreamers, they gave Bless a very good run for the money last week, losing by, I think, a possession in that football game. And we talk about Bless against Infantry, and this is for the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Infantry wins. They go 10-0, perfect season. If Bless were to win, they jump Infantry for the 1. And right now, as you look at it, Peeze, what are the keys in this matchup between Infantry and Bless? We've been talking this game up for the last 8-9 weeks, believing that this would be the top 2 teams in the division. And here we are. They'll duke it out, I believe, in Lachine on Sunday night for the chance to be the 1 seed.
You get ready to clip this for when I'm wrong. The key for Infantry, believe it or not, is going to be on offense. And we talked about this last week. As good as their offense is, I don't want this to sound as if I have any knock against them. They're remarkably efficient. That's the best thing about their offense is their efficiency. They also always have good position, right? Because of how good that defense is. But they're coming up against a master play caller in Stephen Harpersad.
Yeah, now a healthy team coming back.
Yeah,
in full.
it's going to be the best version of Blessed with the guy who's most capable of dissecting that defense, right? So I think the pressure is going to be on Infantry to put up 35 plus against Blessed. And I think Blessed will instead try to muddy the track, keep the game low scoring, slow down the pace, control the tempo of the game. And I think if Infantry allows Blessed to do that, if they keep it to a one-score game all game long, Blessed will find a way in a late possession to win the game, win on converts, do the thing that Stephen Harpersad does best. Is just dissect the defense and find a way to move the ball, not be tricked by guys shooting into gaps and so on. And so I think that is the key for both teams, essentially. Like, Blessed has to control the pace, and Infantry needs to apply the pressure.
So 8 out of the last 9 games for Infantry, they score 30-plus points, about 33-plus points per game. So
They'll have to. They'll have to. In this
it'll be a 5-touchdown score. The over definitely, I think, is going to be like 68.5 points.
Do you think that they're a team that, without turnovers, can put up those big scores?
You talking about Blessed? You're talking about
Infantry. Because I'm saying a lot of their offense has been generated by their defense. It's very complementary football. Like, it's what you want as a team, right? Like, I know it's almost
22 INTs this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm almost. It sounds like I'm phrasing this as a negative thing. I'm not. It's the best version of a flag football team, right? In that both offensive and defense are just always on attack.
Right. For sure.
But I think that if Stephen Harpersad can play a clean game, he can frustrate Infantry.
Yeah, like he had an average game against Blue Dreamers. That got out of the way for them. I think that's out of his system. Now he can lock up and load here because, look, you take away that game, they've been scoring a lot of points themselves. I mean, they scored 50 a couple of times here. They scored 37 points plus, I think, 4 times this year. So they can put up points themselves. And with a healthy team coming back, with Svetna coming back in the fold, perhaps Isaiah Lard could be back. You're getting guys, maybe it's Kevin Smoot as well in this situation here.
Kevin Smoot has been
tough.
resting because of his hamstring.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You can't defend a team with such depth, height, and experience like they have. Yeah. And it's going to be fascinating.
And again, with the play calling of a guy who's an exceptional quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And this will be Sunday in Lachine at 9 p.m. So we'll see how this plays out moving forward. All right, let's go into Division E. And this has been the spicy division because Peeze has been writing this division. And like, I'll be real. I think from the interactions if we rank them 1 through whatever 6 of the divisions, Division E has been the one that's been more interactive with you and I.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Mo, you picked against us. Who are you guys?
We really piss people off.
I know.
It's okay. To be honest, I told Simon Dashley when he was writing, he used to get really self-conscious when people didn't like him. And I said, Simo, if you're doing this
even
job...
now, in real life.
Yeah, he's always that way in general. But and he's been really self-conscious. I said, people need to... 50% of the people you're writing for need to hate you and 50% need to love you. Like, if you have that ratio, you're doing okay. It means you're doing good work, right? And so that's how I've always seen it. Of course, I'm saying that after writing a marijuana-fueled rant at the beginning of my article, but it's okay. That's fine.
Well, your forehead looks fantastic, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we know what
we went into deep thought and deep conversation this week.
If anyone doesn't get that reference, you really need to give it a read.
So Pinchelis has become like our new BFF now.
They're good dudes.
They're good dudes.
Like, honestly, what I like about Vince Romano and what I like about the Pinchelis guys, because I had rivalries with them when they were BDR. Yeah. And they kind of got it early on, like, oh, this is like a joke. Like, we're having fun with them too. Like, when we're picking a team, we never actually hate anybody, right?
No, we don't.
With very few exceptions. Yeah. No one in this division. Let's say that.
No. There's some teams that don't follow the rules, which is a bit disappointing from a crowd source perspective. But we hopefully.
But generally, like, you're not rooting against teams in general.
I do.
Except Pinchelis.
I root against Pinchelis.
Yeah. They're not likable.
Even though I saved their weekend with I holding the keys.
Yeah, so let's tell the story. I get a call. I get a call. I'm having a date night with my lady, with my wife.
Should I tell what PZ said to me?
we were watching Pretty Woman.
And PZ said something else. Mo, I'm trying to watch Pretty Woman and do something with her.
Yeah.
Is this when you called me and I didn't answer? Because usually you call me first.
No, they called me.
Because we didn't know there was a team earlier night that we thought was late, which they were. We thought they forfeited. And so that's what we called you, just to make sure there was no forfeits.
But that's it. You usually call me for that stuff.
No, but they called me. Pincello's we talked to.
Oh, Pincello's called you directly.
He called me and I was like, dude, like, hey, it's Saturday night. You know, I'm
Friday night.
I'm watching Pretty Woman with my lady. That's supposed to lead to something. You know, like what's going on?
Nice seafood dinner.
Yeah, exactly. See, Eagle knows because he ordered the seafood dinner for me. I very much appreciate it. But then. So Vince Romano called a couple times. I said, okay, well, let me figure out what this is because it's not common for a play like one's nice style.
Yeah.
2-3 is like someone's got an issue.
Sure.
Right? So he lets me know that the keys were left at the field. He's like, what the hell do I do? I said, listen, let me contact the scorekeepers. Let me figure out what's going on. And Mo, I knew you were at the field, so I contacted you.
Yeah.
And you were kind enough to sort it out. You sent the keys back by Uber.
Yeah. So I was on the highway, literally merging onto the highway, going towards the city when you called. And so what happened was Gab Wiseman, who they had played, found the keys, gave it to Alexa Dubois. Alexa gave it to me. We waited a few minutes. No one asked. We figured it was maybe the 9 o'clock game or even the 8 o'clock game. I said, look, I'm gonna go post it up on the Facebook wall, and eventually someone's gonna say, hey, those are my keys and cell phone. We'll make an arrangement to pick it up. So Vince calls you, then you call me. I go, I'm already on the highway. I can't turn back. I'm like literally in Saint Laurent at that point. So the Vince calls me up, and I get home, settle in. I go, hey, how do you want to do this? He goes, we'll call an Uber. Give him the keys and the cell phone, which I did, and he got it like a half an hour later, and away we went.
I did like I woke to a text from Vince the next morning, and it said, "Let me give you the PG-13 version." He said, "Hey, dude, got the keys. Thank you so much. Also, we won. So eat my rhymes with bass."
Bleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eat my seafood dinner.
Exactly. So let's talk about the situation right now, because V-Town, of course, there's some C19 situations that popped up here. So Trailer Park Boys, V-Town still have a few games left on their schedule, but guess what? Those two teams are now essentially in a. You win out, you probably gain the last playoff spot here. So Peeze, who are you giving the edge to going into the final 3 games for V-Town and Trailer Park Boys?
So the key is because of a few situations. One is related to lightning, and the other one related to a COVID situation. V-Town Trailer Park Boys have an extra game to play. Trailer Park Boys won a big game against Minister Sobriety, who were on a tear. They had won 3 in a row. They lose this one. Got a message from Bobby Spaghetti's. He said, I can't just message you when we win, right? He's like, so, and I appreciate that because most times players only message us when they win.
Of course.
And he's like, hey, so this is what happened in our game. So it's cool. It was cool to see, and I'll have some more information on that in my article. So please do check that out. I'm thinking Oscar's Hockey School is going to be on the outside looking in.
No. Hey, listen, I'm about to win this battle with you.
Oh, you won.
Oh no, I'm totally winning.
Who's
Chevalier de Rohan, man.
I have les Chevaliers du Rohan, who are currently 4-4, and they have Mitzik and Ravens left. Oscars have Pincellos left, so they're gonna finish 4-6. My team's gonna finish 5-5, and Pease's bad batch will be lucky if they get a win.
So if we both
scored 69 points.
But
Nice.
if you and I both finish 5-5,
you're not finishing 5-5.
Let's say we do finish 5-5.
You're not. Oscar's Hockey School needs to beat Pincellos. Are you
Let's
calling
go
that right
Pincellos.
here?
You're my favorite team.
Yeah.
You're calling Oscar's Hockey School is going to beat Pincellos.
I should have kept the keys and cell phones leverage for them. Hey, you want this back? You got to lose your game. You got to throw it next week. Like throw like 20 INTs going for pick 6.
In the same episode, we talked about the integrity of the game.
Exactly.
I was like,
I'm just
you want your keys back.
You better throw that game away against.
Okay, there, Evander Kane.
Well, allegedly with Evander Kane. So, all right. So, V-Town Trailer Park Boys, they could up in Oscar's Hockey School, who are in the same position as we mentioned with ECW, that they might run out of racetrack and have to rely on help to get that spot clinched.
V-Town have 2 of their last 3 games are tough. They play Rainmakers. They play Brewers, which not particularly difficult. And
do Brewers have a chance? Because they have Minister Sobriety in V-Town, and they need basically 2 wins, right?
They need to win out and get a lot of help.
And get lucky, yeah.
I don't get Brewers. They seem to have taken a step backwards. They look like they were improving. I legitimately thought this will be like a 4 to 6 win season for them, you know?
Yeah, I just think they're out of the weight class in that sense here. I score kept a couple of their games and did not look anything close enough to being competitive. But I just think above that, though, quickly, Peeze, when you look at Rainmakers, Balls Deep, even Suicide Squad, they're all at 5 wins, and that could be a plinko of who could finish 3, 4, and 5, or even 6 if Minister Sobriety do win out and see some losses above them. So there's going to be a lot of movement, I think, from 3 to 6 moving to the final 2 weeks.
Rainmakers have a decently winnable game. They play V-Town, which are solid, but not as experienced.
Derek Castor has not played well the last couple of weeks.
That's true. And they have these like red zone slumps. like within a game, they'll be doing fine in the red zone, but not making the conversions. And then all of a sudden, they just can't move the ball in the middle of the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like it's bizarre to see. But look, Derek Cass has improved a lot overall, like from one season to the next.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully he hits that next stride come playoff time. You know.
So Conference B, Joel Ula of Ravens said, "Hey Mo, do I need to like post something on the wall for us to get love from Peeze?" I go, maybe. And I was like, maybe.
Usually the opposite happens. You post something and I pull out all the things I said about you and make you look like a baby.
Of course. So
like Vince Karen Romano.
So Karen Romano, but let's talk about Le Mythique. They're down to their last bullet, the last roll of the dice, and they will need a lot of help if they're going to get in as a number 8 seed, because if they lose, they're officially out of the playoff picture, and we'll have our 8, and we'll figure out who finishes 1 through 8.
And who are they playing?
Well, Le Mythique this week.
They're playing Les Chevaliers du Rohan.
Yes, a loss for Chevalier de Rohan this week, my friend.
So you're saying they're going to escape with a playoff spot potentially?
Oh, no. They won't. I just want the Chevalier de Rohan to lose. This is for you.
It's not going to happen.
And we'll see what happens.
So the thing is that this is one of those teams that's been plagued by players missing games. Even at Saint Catherine, the quarterback had to miss a game. And the thing is, it's just hard to build, to have any like continuance and any chemistry. And the Chevalier de Rohan have largely been there in all their games.
Oh, yeah.
And you've seen an improvement week after week for that reason, where it's always the same group more or less. And it's allowing them to grow very quickly. Les Mythiques, at the beginning of this season, I was like, oh, I really like these guys. I think they have what it takes. And then because it's never the same roster, like in order for them to win, Eagle, they'd have to beat Les Chevaliers de Rohan by showing up with their best roster, which they haven't really done all season long.
Right. Look, save the Turf Tools. These guys, that defense is really good. And they're finding their stride now in this division. They're the second highest scoring offense in this division of the conference side of things here, Pease. Look, I think for them it's all matchup dependent. Against the Ravens, they were outclassed back in week 2, and I score kept that game in Brossard on a Thursday. But I think now, as Peasy's headset goes kaput, I think now we could see a different scenario if it ends up being a Ravens save the Turf Tools at some point in the playoffs, whether it's in the conference semifinals or in the finals.
So that's the thing with Save the Turf Tools. I really like them, but I think they're going to be somewhat matchup dependent. I don't think they're legitimately one of the elite teams where I think we would agree like Dilly Ravens. I like Suicide Squad a lot, although they haven't always performed up to their standard. But to me, those 3 teams from a talent perspective are the absolute best in the division. And Save the Turf Tools are probably the head of that next tier. So if they do end up in a battle, in second or third round against Ravens, I don't see them winning that game.
I think that the size of the Ravens, not to use like a basketball term, but they would lean on them. They're a little bit smaller, a little bit leaner, but they're quicker than the Ravens, I think.
But the way the Ravens play, they use that size well. Like Matthew Hill has used that size in Division 2 and Division 1.
If he's healthy.
If he
plays the final season.
Yeah.
Eagle, you're about to say something to us.
I'm just looking at the upcoming game. So Bad Batch, there's no way they can get into playoffs, but they can play somewhat of a spoiler in a way. They have Quantrium FFC and Melons left on their schedule, so they could hold them down the seedings essentially, right? Keep them in that 7 and 8 spot, and maybe give Mythic a chance of getting in if they manage to get a win this week.
So what does PZ buy for the winner?
Yeah, what was the bet?
I can't remember.
We never remember the stakes to our bet.
I mean, we can go back. It's literally recorded.
I think it's
Iggy
Duns,
Magnets,
right?
dig it up. You're our archivist.
It's Duns. No, we get like with cheese sticks.
I feel like it was Duns.
Yeah, Duns. I think it's something to do with Duns with cheese sticks
Duns.
or appetizers or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
You get a chicken salad or something stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't eat meats anymore, so.
You should.
I should. You know what? I've been losing weight, actually. Not too
No,
good.
you're not.
Yeah, I am. Anyway.
So
yes,
Felix Goulet is taking over a quarterback for Quantrium FFC. That's low-key the most important roster move that's happened in Division E. Do you know why that is, Mokan?
Why?
Because now their former quarterback goes back to being number 1 receiver, a man by the name of Vincent Benjamin. He's now the top receiver in a Division E team.
That helps.
So Quantrium FFC low-key might be sneaking into that elite territory as well.
And poor Icky Magnus as Dilly. He might be a one and done, and he'll have plenty of time to crunch those numbers for us for our picks that we do every
pull
week.
out all of our archival bets.
Exactly.
Because there's another bet I won, and then again I don't remember what our
I don't remember what that bet was, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it, and we're like, what were the stakes? And we're like, I don't know.
I don't know. It was something about it. All right, co-ed. as we dive into the co-ed division now, as we are zipping right through, and again, we will have wall-to-wall playoff coverage in the coming weeks here as we move towards the end of August into September. So, Peeze, I mean, look, I think we pretty much are set. I mean, one more win for Power Rangers, and they will be your 1 seed in the playoffs here. I don't know. Do I believe third down for what could be had? I don't think they will be. I think we know who the final will be, which I think will be Power Rangers and third down for what in the final.
I love those Miami Heat pink T-shirts, by the way. And third down for what?
Third down for what? Yes.
But so do you think though that third down for what will go an entire season, regular season and playoffs, without beating Power Rangers? Because they'd have to win in order for Power Rangers to win the championship, and we assume they're going to face third down for what, right? Like, let's say that's going to be the final. Do you think Power Rangers has enough to beat third down for what 3 times in one season?
I think so.
That's hard to do. It's hard to do.
I think so because I'll tell you why. The Murphy boys, a big part in.
I think if there's any like especially if it's the finals, if there's any chance that they'll be there, they'll be there. You know what I mean? Like,
but given that again with the unknown right now, which we don't know, we're not confirming what the schedule will be like because we could be going to a different playoff format. If it ends up being Peeze where we're going to see a truncated schedule of 2 weeks, for example, these guys are in the eye of their football seasons, which takes them into the evening of their practice schedules. I know for Champlain, I was there yesterday or on Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever it was. They go till 9 o'clock, 9:30. So if there's a third down for what game that's happening 8 o'clock, well, guess what? Josh Murphy's not going to be there. Concordia football, they go till early evening. Again, who knows what the situation is going to be for Jeremy Murphy at that point. So if they're not available, kept their game against Power Rangers back on August 9th, I beg your pardon. August 16th, I beg your pardon. And Sarah Parker had a very lethargic game, a very mediocre game, 2 INTs. So there is a lot of question marks if you don't have the Murphy boys in there on both sides of the football.
That's fair. So I do think if there's any chance at all they can be there, they'll be there, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I don't discredit that at all. I think they will, but in the situation they're in now, given that they're about to start their tackle seasons, I don't know how it's going to play out.
And given our schedule may be truncated as well, we might be playing a final on a Tuesday.
During like install week for a tackle team. So I just think, I'm not going to deny it. I want to see a third down for what Power Ranger final. To be selfish.
So you think it might affect them so much that they don't make the final?
Yeah, no, they'll play each other in the final. I think they will be in the finals. These two teams,
regardless of whether or not they have the Murphy boys.
Exactly.
Okay.
I just think that from a seductive standpoint of appealing the matchup, that's the two teams you want to have.
If they can be upset, if they could be had,
party mix.
They're done for what? It's party mix.
Party mix. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I saw party mix kind of look lackluster against the 5-player fight in Tigers though. Like they're sometimes it feels like they're beating themselves.
Yeah, but that's Frank Delorier's team for you, right? I mean, it's they're so well equipped of how they know each other. But Frank is a really good player, and knowing him, I know he watches the podcast. I know he does. He's going to use this as bulletin board material. That Mo Khan said, "Hey, we're not going to win."
And don't forget, I am Francois Delorier.
What was that line from again?
It was 1 year they didn't send a representative to the press conference.
Oh, right. Yes.
And so I fielded all questions as Francois Delorier.
Was he not vexed at you for doing that?
Oh, yeah. He was a little pissed
He was
off.
really pissed about that, right?
In our defense, we said, if you don't show up, we will pretend to be you. And that's exactly what we did. So
was he
followed
annoyed
through
vexed,
on our
or was he
threat.
vexed on it? Like,
he was
annoyed vexed?
He was.
I wouldn't
more
say
annoyed.
they were pleased. I don't think they were upset, but they weren't pleased.
It was like so like some of the guys on the team kind of got the joke, and others were far less pleased. It was just like, guy, I'm not stealing his identity and running up credit card debt.
No, we're not going to hey, we are the RRS of Canada. We need to get your information ASAP, Francois Delorier. So tier 2, we have our number 1 seed in Fantastic 9. They're going into the playoffs as number 1 seed. Yin and Yang, again, I don't know what it is, Peeze, but once again, it's just a befuddling situation with them and how they've gone about with their season this year. They did play Semi-Croquant, I believe, on Sunday, I think it was. Let me double check that here, boys. I forget.
They played them on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, played them on Sunday. So we can see maybe a flip in the standings where we can see who might have the first pit or the home field.
Oh, sorry,
pick.
you're saying they will play. They
did play them, and they will play them again.
The next game is Monday.
That's right.
It's the same team, so that's
exactly.
That's
what I thought it is. So do you think we see a flip? I mean, from the prospect that some team will have choice of field or ball at the first half?
Yeah, maybe. The weird thing about Yin and Yang this past week was they got Brett Bodkin to sub, I believe.
Yeah, and he was stretching like 45 minutes. He came in for like 10 minutes at the end.
Well, he told me that there were also more than enough players to play the game. It was very confusing.
Yeah, Gino DeFazio always trying to circumvent the system of recruiting here. That's what it was.
But why? I just
don't
don't
know,
get
man.
it. I don't understand.
I don't know. That's your boy, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. Here's a question for you. If you had to, like this weather that we're in right now, a car ride to Toronto, no air conditioning.
Okay.
Gino DeFazio as your Mariner
Okay.
or Nimrod as your Mariner?
Well,
and think about it.
I'd be flying.
But there's no flying. The only way you get to Toronto is by driving, and with these guys as your Mariner.
Who
do you pick?
Can I choose death?
You can't choose death.
It's the easy out, huh?
You got to pick one. And there's no air conditioning. You are driving straight to Toronto with either Gino DeFazio or Nimrod Jim Kowski.
You know what? Based on this one particular facet, two reasons. I choose Nimrod for two reasons. One is when I spoke to him before the game, he smelled pleasant. I noticed I was like, he smells nice. He's someone who obviously cleaned up before coming to the field, so I give him that. Second thing is, he'd obviously be riding in pajama pants, so I don't have to worry, is he uncomfortable?
Right.
So my mind would be at ease.
Okay. Fair enough then.
Two reasons right there. So that's
Conference A and Conference B now. We have our division winner, Braves. Shocker. 9-1. They clinched it officially by beating Contraband and another thriller. So now we come down to this. Contraband, All-Stars, and Chernobyl. Chernobyl is going to be locked in as a 4. What it'll come down to, Peeze, is that Contraband, who are in the number 2 seed, a win will clinch them essentially the number 2 seed, and they will play Braves again. But could All-Stars, with 1 game left, get into the 2 spot and perhaps play Braves in the 1 versus 2 matchup?
Well, in order for that to happen, Contraband has to lose both their games, right?
That's right.
So, Junkyard Dogs, BYOB.
Those are stat pattern games for Dan Lazara.
Yeah. How many touchdowns does Dan Lazara have right now?
Danny Boy's going to. I think he's going to get the pass
right now.
Yeah, he's going to get the passing record. He's at 1937 right now for the year with 2 games left. So if he were to average, I think about 250, he could hit 2,500 for the year, which I think
that's insane.
Let me look at the.
You know how hard that is to do in a 40-yard field.
Yeah, not only that though, but I mean, I'm trying to look at a quick here from a career stats perspective here, Peasy. That would be a career high for him in a season if he were to hit 2,500. So he could do it.
Dan Lazara plus or minus 62 touchdowns for the season. He's at 50.
50. Again, he is 12 off from his career high of 62 with Dan & Co. and went to 2017.
So is he tying that or plus or minus? I'm setting the line at 62.
I think he breaks it.
So 7 touchdowns at least in one of these games.
I think he gets 63, right. Yeah.
Eagle, what do you think?
I can see it happening.
He's got 50 in 8 games.
I think he can get to 63.
Quarterback of the year?
Probably, but it's debatable for sure.
What's Joe Mayer at?
Joe Mayer, I believe his season is now done, and
54, 2008. Yeah, well, the 2 interceptions is impressive though. But if like Dan, gets in the 60s in touchdowns, the interceptions I don't think will be enough to keep him out of that conversation.
He's going to surpass him in passing yards, and he will jump in for touchdowns.
Kevin Wyatt's injury kind of affected his stats for a couple weeks, so
and they lost. That was essentially a loss and a tie to Chernobyl.
Yeah, but like when it comes to individual awards, I don't care that much about your record.
No,
right?
but I'm saying from a win-loss perspective, with 2 plays left, they're at the 5-yard line. Wyatt threw an end zone 19 to JF Marquis that would have won them the game essentially.
Yeah,
ended up tying the game, so they lost out on the point.
But I'm saying like the games where he wasn't 100% and Paul LaPierre even had to come in and play some for him, obviously it affects his stats so that he won't have a chance at this award. So how many touchdowns will it take for Dan Lazara to have to overcome a difference of 7 interceptions to win the Quarterback of the Year award?
Well, also like his yards too. Like he's gonna
And
get
the yards.
somewhere in the 2,500 range.
He might set a new career high in his.
And like I was saying a couple weeks ago, to me now with the Scorekeepers app, I weigh yards more heavily than I did in the past
Yeah.
because the yards have to add up to 40 on a drive, right?
He got angry at me because he had a 19-yard sack. Me, bro, you serious? Go, bro, we counted it.
Yeah.
He's me, bro.
So he's probably not going to break the all-time record. So Hollowak has 2,507 yards.
Well, but hold on here. I disagree because I think Lazarus twice hit 300-plus yards in a game. So he could do it.
He could. It's going to be tight. And then for the touchdown record, it's 66 by Wyatt.
That I don't
won't
think
get
he'll
to
get.
66.
He won't get that number, but I think he will definitely break the passing yards.
But I'm saying,
40.
but so getting back to my question, how many touchdowns does he need to end with? Given that he's going to end with somewhere between 24 and 2,600 yards.
I think he's going to end up with 63 touchdowns.
But how many touchdowns does he need in order to give him the quarterback of the year, given that Joe Mayo only threw 2 interceptions and he's thrown 9?
I think 63 is the number.
Yeah, I think
I
so
think he's
too.
even at 60, he wins, right? Like, it's 10 more touchdowns than Joe Mayo.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I know we don't factor in quality of losses because he lost the contraband loss to Braves twice, but
Don't care.
this is
It's an individual award.
Yeah, so it's individual.
You also have to look at, I would say, maybe even like a strength of schedule, considering like which Division B teams did Braves play versus the ones that Contraband played. Like, if I'm gonna just do the devil's advocate here, if you're playing the weaker Division B teams,
Yeah, but
you're
are you
likely
gonna
to light
go
up the
look at-
scoreboard, right?
But are you going to look at the games they played and, this game they didn't have their quarterback and this game didn't have this guy? No, you can't do that. It's individual awards. It's just stats. Let's not think too hard. To me, like I said, if it's close, if he somehow only ends with, like 57, 58 touchdowns, I can see the word going to Joe Mayer. But if he's 60 plus, there's no
he's going to hit
chance.
60, I think.
There's 60 plus is no, and I agree with you. I think he'll tie his record, his own personal record.
All right, so
And he's gonna get so mad that he didn't get 63.
bro, you can give me another touchdown. No, I couldn't. All right, so Division B, we know Urgos Medic will be the 1 seed. Now, we can probably lock in KGP in the 2-hole, or at least the 2-hole going into the final week of the playoffs here. Here for the Beers.
Can you though?
Yeah, I think we can. I think.
Can you?
Look, if they win KGP, they're going to be at least a 2.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. At least a 4, if not a 2.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Get FRD has 2 games left. BOYOB has 2 games left. And Junkyard Dogs has a game left where they could at least tie KJP if they lose, right?
And here for the
and
Beers.
KJP has All-Stars, so that's not an easy one.
And KGP already has a ton of points against, so they're not gonna have any favorable tiebreakers.
So let's break this down just to see it, okay? So Get FRD have Urgence Medzik and Here for the Beers. So they're getting 1 win out of that?
Probably.
Yeah.
So that'll put them at 8 points. KGP is likely losing to All-Stars. That's just for the devil's advocate here again. Junkyard Dogs has Contraband and BYOB. They could get a win.
Yeah.
That'll also put them at 8 points, and then there's tiebreaker. Or
BYOB gets that
BYOB
one.
has Here for the Beers and then Contraband.
So no matter what, either Junkyard Dogs or BYOB are likely finishing with 8 points, right? Given that it probably won't be a tie. So they're going to be up. It's going to come down to tiebreakers for them. And we think FRD are going to win a game, right? So that means we'll have 3 teams tied for 8, which means points against will be a big deal. KGP already have 281, and they face All-Stars. So they're going to finish with like 330-ish against?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe,
So
yeah.
Here's another possibility. Here for the Beers wins both of their games. Get Off RD loses both their games, and they end up on the outside looking in.
With
That's
who?
an actual possibility.
You talking about Here for the Beers?
Here for the Beers, because they have BYOB and Get Off RD left on their schedule. They win both of those. Jay leapfrog up to tied for second, and then the other teams, especially Get Off RD, can fall down to all the way at the end.
Right.
Yeah,
so
it'd be weird. It'd be a weird.
It could be weird.
There's still a lot of cloudy
wait,
scenarios with them right now.
Have you noticed KGP's amazing stat line here, where they're second in Division B, right?
Yeah.
They have a negative 99-point differential.
Welcome to Division B for you.
It's
That's why.
insane. It's wild. It's wild.
We'll have a more clear picture by next week. Eagle, is now time for
Games of the Week.
trying to buy team. Trying to buy time here, Eagle, huh?
I mean, I'm trying to type at the same time, so it
But
works
you
out
knew
well.
it was coming.
No, I don't know when it's coming. Mo just ambushes
I knew it. No, Mo. I got
You
your
want
back.
us, to finish within an hour. We're on target right now to finish
54 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go here. As Eagle tries to screw us over. Oh, guys, you finished with 2 minutes over the time limit here.
I never say that. Actually, I say that all the
You
time.
do all the time.
Alrighties, let's get going with this. Week 10, Division A and B, KGP and All-Stars.
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 Get Off RD and Urgence Medic.
Urgence.
Urgence Music.
Contraband, Junkyard Dogs.
Contraband.
Contraband.
And BYOB, Here for the Beers.
Here for the beer.
Here for the beer.
Division C, B-Ballers versus Les Gros Coq.
B-Ballers.
B-Ballers.
Easy W versus Mangoose.
Easy W.
Blue Dreamers, Top Sauce.
Blue Dreamers.
Blue Dreamers.
Balls Deep, Sheesh.
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 Blessed, The Infantry.
Blessed.
Ooh, I'm gonna go infantry.
And Les Centaures, Silent Ticklers.
Silent Ticklers.
Silent Ticklers.
Division D, Kiss My End Zone, Bruins.
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 PDs and Negronis, Tuts and Parlays.
Tuts and Parlays.
Tuts and Parties.
Pardon My Swag, Clinkers.
PMS.
PMS.
Fighting Illini, Les Bleus Branleurs.
Fighting a line.
LBB.
Sparrows Legion, Ballin' 60s.
Legion.
Legion, but I have a sneaky feeling about Ball 60s.
Tough Lungs, Mean Girls.
Tough lungs.
Wait, they play each other again? Oh no, I beg your pardon. They played. No, my apologies. Tough Lungs.
Glow Gang, Vultures.
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 Arush, The New Guys.
New guys quarterback. I don't know what's going on now with them, a quarterback here, but I'll go with new guys.
I'll go new guys as well.
Johnny Fireball, Hot Sauce Sports.
Hot Sauce Sports.
Also sports by 50.
Top Season, Voodoo.
Top Season Voodoo. I go with
Top season.
Top Season. Yeah.
Trap Stars, The Stoics.
Stoics turned their season around, huh? I'm gonna go Stoics.
Yeah. Stoics looks really good. I mean, they've really proven me wrong. Trap Stars.
Lockdown,
love it.
Replacements.
Lockdown.
I'm not doing this to troll. I'm not doing this to troll. The offense, though.
Lockdown, guys.
Placements.
If you win, you gotta bring some Arush for us.
Your defense is worse than theirs.
That's not true.
Your defense is worse
They
than
don't
theirs.
have Nim.
No, but bring some Arush next week if you win up.
Actually, no. Nim's jokes aside, Nim's a big piece. I'll go lockdown. I'll go lockdown.
Loyola, Blackouts.
Blackouts. But they're playing with fire though.
Loyola.
With,
No, blackouts. Sorry.
playing with fire though. Blackouts. Gotta get that lead and keep that in place. Next.
The Leftovers, Los Siete Amigos.
LSA.
LSA.
Division E, Suicide Squad, Green Means Go.
Green means go.
SS.
Save the Turftles, Oreos.
Turf Tools.
Turf Tools.
Melons, Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly.
Dilly.
Off Yours Hockey School, Pinchellos.
You know how we roll. Oscars, baby.
Pinchellos!
Let's
do
go,
it, baby.
Oscars.
My favorite team in FPF.
Les Mythiques, Les Chevaliers du Rohan.
Mystic.
CDR.
Rohan.
Hey, what up? That means you're gonna finish above your boys.
But I'm not an idiot though. Let's go.
Menace to Sobriety, Brewers.
Menace to sobriety.
Sobriety, yes.
Trailer Park Boys, Balls Deep.
Balls deep.
Balls deep, yes.
Ravens, Blast from the Past.
Ravens.
Quantrium, FFC, The Bad Batch.
Quantrium.
I am an idiot. Give me the bad patch because I have to do it every week.
Rainmakers,
I hate you guys.
V-Town.
Rainmakers.
Rainmakers.
And last games, co-ed, Fighting Tigers, Fantastic Nine.
Tigers.
Fantastic.
Third down for what, Party Mix.
Third down for what?
Third down.
Double header, third down for what, Sriracha Hot Chili Sauce.
Third down for what?
Third down.
La Secte, Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yin and Yang, Les Semi-Croquants.
Semi-Croquant.
Semi-croquant.
And there we go, boys.
All right. Magic words, please. We did it, boys. 1 hour.
So
2 weeks in a row.
the jump got canceled.
The what?
The jump got canceled.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's too bad.
Yeah, I like the show. It was good.
Not bad.
You can replace it, Mo.
Perhaps. Never know. Good night.
Rachel Nichols.
No, not Rachel Nichols. Good night, Max Kellerman.
All right.
Yeah, Max Kellerman. Yeah.
Still on the theme, though. Still on theme.
Yeah.
Respect that.
Yeah, it's a branch of the ESPN networks.
Mine was going to be much darker, so.
Nope.
Shocker.
Put it in chat.
Put the place up.